From the Washington Post today, a bombshell report that Donald Trump and his team have been caught red-handed trying to rig the 2026 midterm elections. But in classic Trump fashion, the scandal is being drowned out by the newly minted Epstein scandal. And in fact, what Trump and his team are doing is so audacious and so criminal that it would not be too far-fetched to think that the recent unraveling of the Epstein case is a diversionary tactic to hide what Trump and his team are really up to. It's easy to not pay attention to the ramblings of Trump, but we have long since figured out that every time he rambles, there's a confession at the center of it, and this one from the campaign trail should have gotten more attention.
You won't have to do it anymore. 4 more years, you know what? It'll be fixed, it'll be fine. You won't have to vote anymore,
But of course, the mainstream media ignored it. Then came Trump's surprising victory in November, and interestingly, Trump had this to say about it.
He spent like a month and a half campaigning for me in Pennsylvania, and he's a popular guy, and he was very effective. And he knows those computers better than anybody, all those computers, those vote-counting computers. And we ended up winning Pennsylvania like in a landslide, so it was pretty good. It was pretty good. So thank you to Elon.
And sure, you can chalk it up to Trump just rambling. I mean, it's obvious to everyone that he's suffering from dementia. But you can draw a direct line from Tina Peters to Peter Thiel to a court case in Rockland County, New York, and it will lead you right to what Pam Bondi is really doing these days. So who is Tina Peters? She's the Colorado County clerk who gave access to Colorado voting machines to an outside company. Not just the data from the machine, but software itself. She was sentenced to jail for the crime, but no one in the media thought it was worth tracking down what happened to all that access software. That access was crucial to what played out next. Last-minute updates were made to ES&S voting machines leading up to the 2024 election without independent testing, public disclosure, or full certification review. And the company that did it had direct ties to, wait for it, Peter Thiel's Palantir Corporation. And you could argue that's just coincidence, but the New York State Supreme Court thinks otherwise. Voting anomalies in Rockland County defied statistical probabilities, like a precinct in Rockland County, New York, where 80% of the votes went to Democratic Senate candidate Kirsten Gillibrand, but 0 votes for Harris. And it happened in more than one precinct, and with similar results in Pennsylvania. And you could try and argue that away, except for what the Washington Post just revealed, that the Trump administration and its allies have launched a multi-pronged effort to gather data on voters and inspect voting equipment. And when the Post writes allies, they should put it in quotes, because their reporting revealed that Republican election officials in Colorado fielded calls and messages last week from Jeff Small, a consultant who most recently served as chief of staff to Representative Lauren Boebert. Small told more than half a dozen GOP county clerks by phone or text that he was working with the Trump administration to ensure the integrity of elections and to advance Trump's election agenda. And this is a classic maneuver for plausible deniability. When caught, the White House can claim that Small was acting on his own, and sure enough, the Post reported that a Justice Department spokesman declined to comment on the activities. The White House did not answer questions about whether it was working with Jeff Small. But several county clerks did not see it that way. The Post included this quote: "To me, it felt like they were wanting to intervene before 2026, said Justin Grantham, the Republican clerk in Fremont County." Yeah, that's right. It was a Republican clerk, and they are not alone. The good news of this story is that neither Democratic nor Republican clerks are rolling over. "That's a hard stop for me," said Carly Kaups, a Republican clerk in Weld County, who said she rejected Small's overtures to allow a federal inspection. "Nobody gets access to my voting equipment for security reasons." And the Post further reported that more than 350 election officials from at least 33 states joined a conference call Monday to learn more from Democratic and Republican lawyers about the potential implications of the administration's moves. According to the Post, this is not surprising. They write, Election officials have long bristled at the notion of federal intrusion. In 2017, during Trump's first term, officials from both parties declined to give a presidential commission detailed information on voters, with Mississippi's GOP Secretary of State telling the task force to go jump in the Gulf of Mexico. Yes, Mississippi, and you'll note that the 2018 midterms were a disaster for Republicans and that Trump lost 2020 by a landslide. Well, the Trump administration is determined not to let that happen again. Now, they're in an all-out bid to rig the 2026 elections. And the truth of the matter is, red states are nowhere near as red as they seem, especially Texas. Republicans win by gerrymandering, voter suppression, and ballot harvesting, and Texas is the state that excels at that. Just ask Colin Allred. And now a desperate Trump administration is ordering Texas to do more gerrymandering. Only Trump has so ruined Republican chances in 2026 that they are adding rigged voting machines to the toolbox. And why not? It worked in 2024. I'm Anthony Vincent Gallo for Occupy Democrats.